The government of Ghana, in its 2022 budget, was seeking to empower the citizens, especially the youth, to have an entrepreneurial mindset. The fiscal policies presented in the 2022 budget statement were intended to broaden the tax net and increase government revenue to finance various government programs, support entrepreneurship, and create jobs to curb the unemployment menace. But recent economic challenges seem to have drifted the vision and the mission of the 2022 budget. Some experts within the business community describe the 2022 budget as the worst in terms of performance in the last 30 years. Chief Executive Officer for the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abuaji, said the budget failed to address the challenges facing various sectors of the Ghanaian economy. Speaking on a pre-budget forum on the expectation for the 2023 budget, he called on government to abolish the new value-added tax in the 2023 budget and economic policy of government.
It's been negative. I think that probably is the worst budget performance for the past 30 years. Why am I saying so? Let's compare the budgeted figures to actual figures as at September, because that is where the figures are available. If you look at all the macroeconomic indicators, it's obvious that you are not going to achieve even one of the targets, even the revised ones. For inflation, for instance, we targeted 8 plus or minus 2.
Under 10%.
Under 10%. And the revised one was 28.5. As at now, it's 37.2. And the likelihood that it will go up again is there, looking at the pass-through effect of all the things that are happening in terms of increases in fuel prices and also lorry fares and other things. So obviously, we are not going to achieve that. If you look at the policy rate also, for instance, it was 14.5% at the beginning of the year. At the moment, it's 24.5%. And what that means is that interest rate will definitely go up. And we've seen the reference rate at the last October figure at 30.52. And that is just the basic or the basis for which they set interest rate. So interest rate for now is around 35 to 40%.
Small and medium-sized enterprises play a significant role in Ghana's economy. Over 90% of business enterprises in the country are SMEs. Moreover, they not only form around 80% of the total employment in Ghana, but also account for some 60% of the country's GDP. Little or no attention is given to this sector. Kuku Adams is the Chief Executive Officer for Clay Group.
It's been a never-ending nightmare.
Nightmare?
I'm telling you. Because sales have plummeted. Some businesses have had to shut down. Now, those businesses that have been shut down are also struggling with even finding new customers. Some of us have had to go to the extent of introducing pay cuts, going to the extent of bringing a 3-day work week. You realize that it's not working. Some, then we have to also think of, okay, maybe this is the time for us to actually move into working, from home full time. Because what's happening is that employee salaries are now becoming transportation allowance. And if you're a business owner, you may not be able to afford an increase in their salary in these times. Then we also have, now the beautiful thing about what we do, in our industry is that we can easily implement, some of these changes quickly, but it's still very challenging. I can give you an example. Businesses that have a lot of inventory, for example. Now we're advising that they do product bundling so they can, sell them off. And these times are not even a time for making profit. It's a time to, just stay afloat, more like just trying to survive.
Just break even.
At this point, you have to. And then we also have those that have very limited stock, very limited stock. And some people are being forced to create, how we call those artificial shortages.
Meanwhile, after days of closing shops, the Ghana Union of Traders Association described the reintroduction of the benchmark value by government on imported goods as an illegality. According to the association's president, 50% reduction of the benchmark values of imports, with the exception of vehicles, does not conform to the World Trade Protocols, hence the need to reverse it. Thus, he believes, is responsible for the rising cost of goods in the country.
The benchmark system is illegality being perpetuated on us. Benchmark system doesn't exist anywhere. It does not exist in the WTO valuation system. It's illegality in its first, because what they have to use is the transactional values, and then they are now using their own discretions to bring out a set of values to benchmark our prices. If you do not understand, please, let everybody understand, because everybody is blaming the trading community for high price of goods and services. That's where my interest is. Where government is pushing so much cost on doing business. And that's why I concentrated only on that aspect. And that now, if prices of goods and services have gone up, is because government have taken off the benchmark.
Proponent of benchmark.
The benchmark is illegality.
Let me tell you. You enjoyed it today. It says an illegality.
Please let me say.
Do you accept you were proponent?
Benchmark value came, and it was not existence. And it came, when it came, and the values were high. From customs, of course, and then they brought these values. And that's why we agitated that the values that you have brought is not the transactional values that we bring. And that government came out and reduced by 50%. Now, they have increased over 60%. What have they done?
The Association of Ghana Industry disagree with these assertions.
That, you see, in the cost build-up of our production, in the 2022 budget, government indicated the intention to make sure the MDAs and agencies charge the right fees. However, there's one particular one that Obi and myself suffer. GAPOA. We do not understand why GAPOA charges its rates in dollars. It is against the BOG rules. And therefore, if you charge GAPOA through the Ministry of Transport, that agency must be brought to book.
Some economists called for a massive reduction in the electronic transfer levy to encourage Ghanaians to embrace the tax.
As well as other tax handles, e-levy can be made better, can be made more efficient. Let's reduce the rate to 0.5, and I am sure we can raise a lot of revenue. It's quite shocking that we have a product that has substitutes. E-levy, you can liken it to, let's say, Fanta or Coke. I can decide to buy Mirinda or any other soft drink. So why do you price it so high when there are substitutes? When I can walk to the bank and withdraw money, where I can use a checkbook, where I can use other means, I can pay cash. So I think the whole design of the e-levy is a good concept of raising money, given the times we find ourselves. But I think it's ill-advised. The rate is too punitive that we will not rake in the needed revenue.
Government needs to be innovative to show that it is really serious about austerity measures. And given that we are also on the verge of an IMF program, I believe that this is the opportunity for managers of the economy to prove that indeed they are quite serious about cutting down on expenditure and also about measures in terms of raising enough revenue.
Various sectors of the Ghanaian economy are bemoaning the current economic challenges. They therefore want a budget to address these challenges. James Ishens reports for Joy Business.